E program, which stands for Philosophy, Politics, and Economics. And by the way, very much Ayn Rand's approach to things. You cannot understand capitalism just by looking at the politics of it, or just the economics of it, or just the moral aspects of it. They all have to come together, they all have to be integrated, they all have to make sense, they all have to be consistent. And by the way, the case for anti-capitalism has those three elements too. If you read Karl Marx, it's not just economics, it's politics, it's a moral argument, not a very good one, but the troika of those three disciplines coming together is very powerful. And you want to have them on your side, whatever side you're on. But here's some of the economic questions. What is capitalism? Is capitalism efficient? How are fortunes made under capitalism? I answered that one. Does capitalism create poverty? What's the meaning of the law of supply and demand? Is economic competition beneficial? What is the profit motive? What's the meaning of production for use and not for profit? Would it pay us to divide great fortunes, as in an estate tax? Jonathan answered that one. Are monopolies created by capitalism? Is a mixed economy possible? And finally, can we have planning and freedom at the same time? I might later, if I have time, read an excerpt from that. I wrote that one as well. The idea of whether central planning or planning at all, or is the free market some kind of unplanned, chaotic, spontaneous order type system that we hear from Hayek and others, right? Why is Ayn Rand's case unique? Now imagine Ayn Rand in 1946, she was 41 years old. She's 41 years old. She had been in this country only 20 years, and she had already written The Fountainhead, one of her famous first novels, right? Which has a courtroom speech talking about individualism versus collectivism. So about 3 years later, when she took on this project, it is not as if she had not thought about individual versus collectivism. What she did not think was that it was widely known in the country that that was the basic issue. And I think what's most interesting about these questions she set for herself is how timeless they are. If this is 70 or 80 years ago, and you look at someone who sat down and said, these are the questions that have to be answered if we're going to save this country, right? And we'd just been through World War II. It wasn't obvious that the country was going to remain free and capitalist. Soviet Union still existed, right? The place that she came from. So it kind of depicts the principled nature of this thinker, that they weren't, as Jonathan said, just in the minutia of, Social Security taxes and this and that healthcare system, right? These are the underlying principles that get you to a free economy or an unfree economy. What's her distinctive comparative advantage, as they say in economics? She was one of the first to say capitalism is moral. Capitalism is a moral system. America personifies capitalism. America is one of the few, she said, actually only moral system ever, moral country ever created. And the whole concept of American exceptionalism didn't even exist in 1946. American exceptionalism